Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss about exoplanets. Exoplanets or extrasolar planets are basically planets which locate outside our solar system. Till now, there are 4,324 confirmed exoplanets. That is, these exoplanets are rechecked by other scientists and other discovery methods as well and have got confirmation. And as per now, there are 5,695 candidates which are waiting for being rechecked and getting confirmation. On the basis of size and physical characteristics, exoplanets have been divided into 4 types. First, terrestrial exoplanets. Second, super-Earths. Third, Neptune-like exoplanets. And fourth, gas giants. Terrestrial exoplanets. These exoplanets are of around or smaller than the size of Earth. These exoplanets are mainly composed of rock, carbon, water or silicate. Till now, 163 exoplanets of this type are discovered and one of its example is TRAPPIST-1e. Super-Earths. These exoplanets are greater than the size of Earth, at least twice. These exoplanets can be made up of rock, gas or even a mixture of both. Till now, 1,331 exoplanets of this type are discovered and one of its example is GJ15AB. Neptune-like exoplanets. These exoplanets are of around the size of Neptune and Uranus. These exoplanets have a hydrogen and helium-dominated atmosphere and a mixture of interiors. As we know, Uranus and Neptune are ice giants, so some of these exoplanets are also categorized as ice giants. Till now, there are 1,467 exoplanets discovered of this type, and one of its example is GJ436b. Gas giants. These exoplanets are of around or larger than the size of Saturn and Jupiter. These exoplanets are completely gaseous. That is, these have only atmosphere floating above their solid cores. Some of these exoplanets are also categorized as hot Jupiters, which orbit their host stars so closely. Their atmosphere is mostly composed of hydrogen and helium. Till now, 1,357 exoplanets of this type are discovered and one of its example is 47 Ursae Majoris b. Now let's discuss about how these exoplanets are discovered by scientists. So there are 5 main methods for that. First, transit. Second, radial velocity. Third, gravitational microlensing. Fourth, direct imaging. And fifth, astrometry. Transit. This is the most commonly used method to discover exoplanets. In this method, when the exoplanet passes from between of its host star and the viewer, it blocks some of the light of that star, which gives a clue to the astronomer for the presence of an exoplanet around that star, just like the phenomenon of solar eclipse. Till now, by this method, 3,287 exoplanets are discovered and one of its example is WASP-12b. Radial velocity. In this method, when the orbiting exoplanet causes its host star to wobble, the color reaching of the light to the earth changes, and by this color change, we can say that the star is wobbling by the process of Doppler shift. And by that wobble, the astronomers can make out that an exoplanet is orbiting that star, or even how many exoplanets are there or how big they are. Till now, 826 exoplanets are discovered by this method, and its example is 14 Hercules b. Gravitational microlensing. In this method, when the light of the star gets focused or diffracted by the bend created by the gravity of the exoplanets orbiting that, the light temporarily seems brighter, which looks like the star has suddenly become brighter and then again faded away. This gives a clue to the astronomer for the presence of an exoplanet around that star. After analyzing the data, astronomers can find details about these exoplanets. This method is also very helpful to find out dwarf planets. These are planets which do not orbit any star, the free-floating planets in the space, as these planets cause quick microlensing event. Till now, 106 exoplanets are discovered by this method, and its example is Ogle 2005 BLG 071LB. Direct imaging. In this method, the astronomers are directly taking the image of the exoplanets by removing the extra glare of the star. But in this process, astronomers are facing many problems, as those host stars are millions of times brighter than the exoplanets. Though rapidly advancing technology are making it happen, there is another device called the star shade used for this method for the space-based telescope, as it blocks the light of the star. Till now, 51 exoplanets are discovered by this method, and one of its example is GJ504b. Astrometry. This method is almost the same as the method of radial velocity. The only difference is that in this, the wobbling of the star is not detected by the method of Doppler shift, but it is detected by its movement in relation to the other nearby stars. Like suppose, if the star is wobbling like this, when it will be here, it will be closer to the star located on this side and far from the star located on this side. And when it will come here, it will be closer to the star located on this side, and so on. But this method is a very hard one. As we know, the wobble caused by the exoplanet is very less, because the gravity of the exoplanet is millions and billion times lesser than the gravity of its host star. Till now, only one exoplanet is discovered by this method, and that is VB10b. VB10b orbits the star VB10. This star is one of the smallest yet discovered stars. This is also one of the reasons of this planet being the one discovered by this method, as small this star is, it has as less gravity. VB10b is a gas giant with 6 Jupiter masses. This planetary system is located 20 light years away from us in the constellation of Aquila. This exoplanet was discovered by a team of 2 great astronomers at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Now I am going to tell about my few favorite exoplanets. First, PSR B1257 plus 12c. Second, Kepler 37b. Third, Kepler 186f. Fourth, HD 100546b. And fifth, WASP 107c. PSR B1257 plus 12c is also known as poltergeist. It was the first discovered exoplanet along with 2 more exoplanets in its planetary system. It is a super Earth-type exoplanet with 4 Earth masses and twice the radius as Earth. It was discovered in 1992 by the great Polish astronomer Alexander by the pulsar timing of its host star. It is located 2,300 light years away from us. It orbits its host star PSR B1257 plus 12, and there are 2 more discovered exoplanets in its planetary system, B and D. It takes around 66 Earth days to complete one orbit of its host star. Kepler 37b. It is one of the smallest discovered exoplanets yet, with the radius just slightly larger than our moon, though its mass does not suit. It has around 3 Earth masses, making it a very dense exoplanet. It was discovered in year 2013 by the Kepler Space Telescope by the method of transit. It is located 2010 light years away from us in the constellation of Lyra. It orbits its host star Kepler 37, and the other two exoplanets in its planetary system are C and D. It orbits its host star taking 13 Earth days. Kepler 186f is the first near the Earth-sized exoplanet to be found orbiting a star in the Goldilocks zone. It was discovered in year 2014 by the Kepler Space Telescope by the method of transit, along with 4 more exoplanets in its planetary system. This exoplanet, titled as Earth's cousin, is a super Earth-type exoplanet with around twice the mass as Earth and 1.5 times the radius of Earth. This exoplanet is located 500 light years away from us in the constellation of Cygnus. This exoplanet orbits its host star Kepler 186, and the other 4 exoplanets discovered in its planetary system are B, C, D and E. It takes 129.9 Earth days to complete one orbit of its host star. HD 100546b is the largest discovered exoplanet yet, with 752 Jupiter masses and 6.9 times the radius of Jupiter. It is, of course, a gas giant type exoplanet, and it was discovered in year 2014 by the method of direct imaging. It is located 320 light years away from us in the constellation of Musca. It takes 249.2 Earth years to complete one orbit of its host star HD 100546, and no other exoplanet in its planetary system is discovered yet. WASP 107c. It is a gas giant exoplanet with radius slightly larger than of Jupiter and mass half than of Jupiter. It was discovered recently in 2020 by the method of radial velocity. It is located 211 light years away from us in the constellation of Virgo. It takes around 3 Earth years to complete one orbit of its host star WASP 107. One more exoplanet in its planetary system was discovered, B, in the year 2017.